I don't know what this is, honestly. I got it a couple, I think a year ago or so. I don't know. I see something and I like it and I grab it. I'm not too big on the brand stuff, but I'm sure it's somewhere around here. It's nice though. I like it.
What made you grab it?
It was in my locker. Just put something on real quick.
When you look at facing a Jacksonville team that is really opportunistic on defense, what are the reminders you give yourself anytime the ball is coming your way?
Yeah, just be at the right spot at the right time. That's the name of the game. Execute in precision and timing with the quarterback. That beats a lot of coverages, especially zone and man also. So just keying in on my fundamentals, making sure, like I said, I'm at the right spot at the right time, and then just execution.
When you have a really strong chemistry with a quarterback, what kind of plays does that show up on the most?
Plays where you normally probably wouldn't get the ball, and then the ball's right on you. There's a couple plays like that this season. So just sticking with you and giving you a chance, knowing that, we put the reps in and that, it's going to look like the situation and practices have been. And, like I said, just executing it from there. So those always feel good, to catch those type of balls.
Could you tell that was emerging quickly with Sam when he got there this spring and everything?
Yeah, I could. Some routes, I had to really tell myself to expect the ball every play, honestly, because it could be there, and that's kind of the attitude and approach that I have came into the season with.
When you guys started out in OTAs, the defense seemed far ahead of the offense. When you were at that point, did you anticipate being this far along this quickly?
Honestly, I didn't know how the season would look. I know that we were going up against a really good defense, and I definitely trusted the process and believed in our guys, to do the job. When you look at the names and across the board on our offense, just showing up, day after day, I definitely had confidence. Didn't exactly know where we can take this thing, still don't, but excited for the ride.
You said you had to tell yourself to expect the ball every play. That was your mindset coming into this year. As opposed to what? Like, what would you think like your first couple of years?
Yeah, some looks, a receiver, a receiver can, start to think, oh, they gave us this look, I shouldn't be, it should be going somewhere else. But, just flipping that mindset, like I said, and understanding that, no matter what, just expect the ball because, it could happen. And, and that's what we've kind of seen a little bit of.
Were there times at OTAs or training camp where, you got to look where it's like, oh, the ball probably should go here, and then you're like, oh, damn, Sam threw it.
Yeah, it definitely was a learning experience, firsthand, like I said, I just had to flip that mindset, some balls, so a couple footballs caught me off guard. So just have to be ready at all times.
You mentioned mindset. Coach McDonald was commending you yesterday for that, of your willingness to be great. I'm curious for your and where does that stem from? Where did that develop? What were some key role models for you on that front?
Yeah, honestly, just I've had the knack of it, for when I was young. Honestly, I just love the game, and I respect, all the great players, all the good players that came before me, and something that I've reached and tried to work towards, ever since I was a little kid. So nothing really has changed from that aspect. I think just the love for the game has pushed me and excelled me to, wanting to be great every single day.
When Mike was asked about your deep catching ability, to have a deep pass or deep reception every game, he mentioned your ball tracking, like how well you track the ball in the air. Is that something you've just sort of innately always had, or does it come, like, I guess, where does that come from? Is it other sports? Is it?
Yeah, I think naturally. I think even like playing baseball when I was a younger kid, like I was a shortstop and they would hit the ball kind of short center field and I would go and catch it and run into people. Like that was just kind of my thing, just go get the ball. And I've always been a wide receiver ever since, I was 3 years old, they would send me on a corner route and the ball's up in the air for a long time. So it's just something that I've naturally been doing all my life.
Is that different, like based on the quarterback? Is it different tracking like one quarterback's deep throw than another's?
Not really. Not really. I think it's just situational. Sometimes it's a 2-ball, sometimes it's a 3-ball. Over the shoulder catch, it's kind of something that I've always done as a receiver.
What's 2 and 3?
2 and 3, 2 is kind of like a shorter line drive. 3, it's like a big ball. Maybe it's a 1 or 3. It's kind of like more up in the air. 2 is kind of like, flat at you. So just the quarterback tendencies, kind of all the same. For me, football's in the air, no matter where it's from or who it is. That's just what it is.
I think you were mic'd up. I think after the game, you talked to Emeka, and some Bucks coaches looked like they showed some love too. Did you know any of those coaches?
Yeah, I knew Coach Charlie Strong. Him being at Texas, me being a Texas kid, watching him. I was always a fan of his. That's really it, though. Ran into Baker a few times, and obviously Emeka. But yeah.
Has that been common this year with the coaches or whoever players, maybe the ones you don't know, just being like, "Wow, man, you can play"?
Yeah. There's a lot of coaches, I've seen from, pre-draft and, that, you catch up with. Some I have built relationships, not a lot. But anytime, to see a familiar face is always cool, especially in the game that we play. It's just an honor to play this sport and live in the dream. So, whenever you can catch up with friends or family, it's always cool.
You put in some work to put on some weight, some strength this offseason. Are you noticing any impact of that in your play?
Yeah, I mean, the goal of mine was to get bigger, faster, stronger, and, that's how I feel. And I think you can see it in my play a little bit. So, just going to continue to take care of that and to grow. I feel like I got some years to continue that. So I'm just taking full advantage, and it's definitely helped me this year so far.
What did you do to do that? What did you change in your training?
I think I just spent more time on it, honestly. My vacation break wasn't as long as it was in the past years, and just getting in the gym, every single day, and just working literally every single day.
Where does strength help you the most as a receiver?
Yeah, strength. To get faster, to the strength and the power, it comes from that. It's kind of my engine. So, it's lower body. Even. For like my arms, being able to pump, faster. I feel like it definitely, correlates. So strength and speed. So make sure to stay on top of that.
Did you put on weight or just kind of change muscle mass? Or?
Yeah. In the beginning of the off-season training, I gained a lot of muscle, and then it kind of shaved down. To like my normal weight, but I still feel like the muscle mass. I'm usually around 197, 202 pounds, so, just flirting with that.
Is flexibility something you had to work on, something you always have, because you've got that's the third tier of those two?
Yeah, I do a lot of mobility strengthening, so being in like different positions and just strengthening, being strong, from those positions, weird positions and positions that I'm always in as a receiver. So just strengthening that and, just making sure I'm on top of my game.
You had said you were a little surprised when, the team moved on from DK and Tyler and Gino and all that stuff. Curious, like with the offense performing as well as it has, have you learned anything about, what makes an offense really, really good?
Yeah, I mean, just the balance. I think balance is key. And it puts the defense on their toes, being able to run the ball, being able to throw the ball. It just opens up a lot of different things, and I think we've been doing a pretty good job at it. We're still hungry for more, to get better, to get to an elite offense consistently. So, but yeah, those are the things I kind of learned throughout the years.
When you were playing baseball? Did your center fielder ever get mad at you for running out too far?
Yeah, they would get mad at me. They would get mad at me. Hurt a couple kids, still feel bad about that. But yeah, that's when I knew I was probably a football player.
Was Kanan one of those kids you hurt?
Nah. He was way bigger than me at the time, so I never ran into Kanan.
Who do you work out with in the summer?
His name's Jonathan Jones. That's my ace card. He does everything with me. He's with me every single day. Yeah, we get after it.
Is that a Metroplex guy, a DFW guy?
He is not. I met him in Pensacola, Florida, training for the draft, and I felt like I got good work in and decided to have him on my team, and he's been everything plus more, for me to make sure I'm ready for the season and make sure my body is right during the season, along with the incredible training staff we have here.
You talked about how you take some pride in the blocking the run game. Cooper obviously does as well. How much time do you guys spend in the receiver room actually watching film of your run blocking versus your route running?
A lot. There's a time blocked off to where, we're going over the run plays, and Coach Frisman Jackson made a little cut up for us each week to make sure, we're on top of it, because it is very important, if we want to be successful, and we all know that. And that's something that we want to be great at. We want to be a great overall sound receiver room, and blocking's a part of that. So we take time, to make sure our keys are right and to know what it's going to look like, and then just execute from there.
When you were on with Rich Eisen, he asked you if you had any goals. Statistically, I would imagine he was asking. You didn't want to share. Does anyone know those goals, like family?
Does anyone? I don't think so. Yeah.
Is there a reason you just keep those to yourself?
Yeah, it's just personal for me, honestly. And, I don't want to be called crazy or anything.
Do you have, are they just known and you got them in a notes app on your phone or something?
Nah. I wrote them down a long time ago. And, I wrote them down a long time ago. And, we'll see what happens, Like I always say, I think my main goal is just helping this team and, getting to the playoffs, helping us get a ring. And I feel like all the personal goals just fall in after that. It always has for me. Once I put my mindset, with the team goals, and I just leave it at that.
Have you achieved a couple of them already?
No.
Do you remember on draft day, were you, not that you went low, but were you disappointed at all where you went, or did you think you were going to go higher? Or
That was a stressful day, honestly. I didn't know where I was going to go. Honestly, I believe, I was in the first round. That's why I showed up in the suit and everything to walk the stage. But honestly, I didn't know. I didn't know what was going to happen. I knew I had a good meeting with Pete Carroll and John and everybody, but I wasn't for sure put a finger on like, hey, I'm getting drafted here.
You were one of 4 straight receivers drafted in that class. Do you stay tight with those 4 guys?
Not tight, not super tight, but I create relationships with a few of those guys, and feel like we're definitely all competing. But I wish the best for those guys. I've got to talk to a couple of those guys, Zay Flowers, Quinn, Xavier Worthy, Rasheed Rice, and, Jordan Addison, those guys. Wish those guys the best, but, we're competing.
Was that meeting with the good meeting you had with John and Pete? Was that at your pro day?
That was at my pro day, yeah. And I only got one meeting, didn't take a visit or anything. So, I was sweating honestly, and then got that phone call, and we were headed to Seattle. It's a good feeling.
If I'm not mistaken, you weren't gonna run at your pro day, and then you decided to, right?
No, I felt like I was gonna run. Some people wanted me not to, but I didn't see the reason, not to run at the pro day. I felt good to do it.
Anything else? Thank you, guys.
Cool.
Thank you.